about is how Heron is such a free spirit and how does she manage it. Because
well, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about. Unfortunately for them, I know everything about him. So
let this not be a counseling
But
session.
free spirit, Cass is Cass has routine, but Cass is still very like okay, whatever.
Cass is the most structured hippie I've ever met in my life.
That's what I'm saying. So she's free spirit. Structured hippie.
They're different versions of free spirit. She's a structured adventure. Heron's a I don't care.
She's Nathan.
Let's go.
Like she's very.
Heron's mic needs to get turned up a little bit.
Yeah, she's totally.
That was a compliment to me because my favorite word is adventure.
Hey.
See?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Heron's face said.
She's definitely adventurous
sure about that?
when it comes to like eating
As
stuff
long as
that
it's-
I've just heard.
As long as it's planned, as long as it's saved for, as long as it's within budget, as long as it's
Amen.
within. Yeah.
Amen.
Then we can go on an
Amen.
adventure.
Amen.
If it's in the budget, if it's free,
Yeah.
we could do it.
That's adventurous.
It's got to be a free adventure, is what it's got to be.
That's
Yeah.
fabulous.
Who's
Are we
at our
like- what
home
are we
right
do-
now?
what are you
Our
doing?
boys at our house?
Yeah, they're home. Camille's doing
Oh,
homework.
I'm like, who is that in our kitchen?
Getting homework done.
Oh, that's very nice. Are we recording right now? Oh, we are recording.
Yeah, Andy knows
Sweet.
your headphones are on so we can record.
When the headphones go on, you can record. I got a little bit of headache and a little Tylenol. Ashlee kind of gave it to me today, but we'll talk about that another
No,
day.
as you left, I said, Adam, because Jermaine was talking about how you today wasn't a good day to ask if you liked a graphic or not. I said, today's just not a good day because, I said, because you lost your luggage or you lost your clothes.
I am 3 days away from vacation.
You're not in a good mood.
It's not an exaggeration. I don't think I've had a day off.
Nancy looks scared.
We're in March. And Nancy could confirm it. I don't know that I've had a day off since January.
He hasn't.
So, see, she said he hasn't. So
I live with you. You've had a day.
I maybe have had a morning. I've maybe had 3 hours here and there. Thank you, Nancy.
Drama.
I'm good. I don't care. I don't need anyone to high five me for working. That's my own,
Give him a high five,
prerogative.
yeah.
But
Heron, he wants a high five.
We all need high
exhausted.
fives.
I'm exhausted is what I'm saying. So I'm over it. I see the finish line is ahead. I got vacation coming up. And I don't have to talk to Jermaine. I don't have to see Andy eat tacos. I don't have to do anything soon, which is going to be nice. So, I'm checked out almost. I got 2 more days of whatever this is. Unfortunately, you're coming with me on vacation, so I gotta figure that out. But sure.
You're a
H,
jerk.
you want to do a boys trip right after
You're dumb.
vacation?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah, right,
Like
yeah.
Cass looked at him like, no, you're not.
I feel like, didn't you just have a trip?
Hey,
Oh, that
ooh.
wasn't a boys' trip, though.
Yeah.
Was it pickleball?
Family. It was family.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't there a funeral up there, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. She Cass like, didn't you go on a trip?
I caught
Didn't you have a
myself.
funeral? Yeah, she caught it. Yeah, that's good. Well, everybody, welcome to.
I was gonna ask.
What happened? What
Ask
were you
us.
going to ask about?
Wait, do you still have boys' trips when you're married? And
I mean,
girls' trips?
I know I do, but you know.
No, so that's the thing, Nancy.
really,
Yeah,
no.
there's boys' trips, but there's rarely ever any girls' trips.
Well, who's going to watch the
fault is
kids?
that?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Whose fault is it?
Who's gonna? You gotta watch the kids.
See, now the girls are going to be in the chat like, see, how's that fair? I've had one girl.
Well, you second guess everything we're doing. You'd be on a trip and you'd be texting me, "What do you do?" Oh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do. And
No,
I'm like,
we went
then
on
just-
one girls. It wasn't. I wouldn't even say it was a girl. It was a girls' night. We went for a night and then came back the next day.
No, honestly, I'm good with it if one to. I think women and men are created very differently in this. Some
You said
women
if I
and men,
wanted
but
to, I can. Let me text somebody.
don't even play that because you know I could. You know I would care less. I'm the one that
Cass.
whenever I
Texting
watch the
Cass.
boys for multiple days, whenever I watch the boys for multiple days, Ashley's like, I'm sure they gave you hell. And I'm like, no, we good. We played, we ate, we're good. And she gets mad. Oh, so they were easy with you? I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't yell at them. That's the
They
difference.
behave differently with their
you.
dads.
Thanks, Cass.
Completely
Come on.
differently.
Tell us.
And then when we come home, it's all damage control.
Well, that's the Lord.
Yeah.
But that's the Lord. Blame God. He's the one who made that dynamic the way that it is. We're authoritative. They listen to us. and they take advantage of their moms. That's it. Well, you have girls, we have both boys. So it's definitely different dynamics, I think, in terms of like.
Alana teeters on the Thomas.
She's the younger
For
girl
sure,
version
she
of
is.
Thomas.
Literally.
Everything you said, like I remember she was just an infant and I would ask you questions and you would start explaining Thomas and I was like, ooh, that's going to be Alana. And like a few months later, that was Alana.
Here she
Really?
comes.
Yeah.
She's the best.
So in short, Nancy, we really don't do guys trips like that. Not really. We'll do guys nights a lot. We have one tonight. So we do guys nights, but not guys trips. We have, because all our best friends were in the same field. We're all pastors. So we do have work trips at times, which is like, you could qualify it as like we still have fun, but we're like at a conference or whatever. So we're also still focused on learning. So it's like we'll have those but those are so rare. And believe it or not, like Heron's my best friend, but for years we've operated just in different versions of our ministry and sides of our ministry. And so our church is so large, like I always joke, like I could go months before I've seen Heron, Now he's in our faith journey side, so there's just a lot more seeing each other. But when he was a youth pastor, the youth pastor world is just, it's so, you're just tunnel vision. So I would tell people like, we're both in ministry, but it'd be like, you guys hanging out every day? It's like, I may see him this month. I may not. It just depends on the schedule, other than us having to make time to hang out with one another.
That was one thing I'm sure Cass would agree, like knowing that as much as the two of you don't hang out, anytime Adam or you would be like, hey, can I go hang out with Heron? I'm like, please. Because I know
Ashlee says no all the time, and then there'll be times that I'll just be like, "Hey, Heron, me and Heron, we want to go." And then she's like, "Oh, if it's you and Heron, go ahead."
Right.
Yeah. But if I'm like, "Oh, me and Nathan," or what, she's like, "No, you can tell your brother he could chill on that."
Go kick rocks.
Everybody, welcome to Beyond I Do. We got an exciting episode for you because we have Heron Kaiza, who you know from Beyond the Letter, and his wife, Cass Kaiza.
Hey.
Or if you go to our private school, it's Mrs. Kaiza to you.
Yes.
We have
Teacher.
them joining us today, which is very exciting because as many of you may or may not know, Heron is one of my best friends, but he's also pretty much my longest, closest friend. We've known each other since 2011 when we were in college. I offered him to go to Round Table Pizza for me. I said I would buy it for him if he would come and hang out with me because I was new to the school. And they had all their friends already and all that. And I said, hey man, I'm gonna go watch this football game, which if you know me, I don't really watch sports. But I said that as an excuse to try to make some new friends. So anyone who ever complains about clicks,
Nancy.
she said,
Oh.
hey, it's cool.
It's networking.
Everybody's always the new kid somewhere. So, and I always hear people whine and complain like, oh, these places are cliquish. Those people are cliquish. I'm like, they had all their set friends. They were hanging out because my roommate, I had just got thrown into an apartment. My roommate asked if his friends could stay before they go off to Israel. And then they had just come back from Israel at the end of the semester. So he asked if they could stay at our apartment again. And none of them were talking to me, which is fine. I wasn't like offended or anything. I'm like, they're all friends. And so then two of them I went to, which was Al and Heron. And I said, hey man, I'm going to Round Table. They got this special on an extra large pizza. I'll buy in. Would you guys want to come with me? And they were like, they're college students. They're like, yeah, let's go. And then we became friends.
Was it Hawaiian pizza?
I would not touch that. He probably would have wanted it. So since 2011, been rocking with each other and on staff. H has been on staff for 11 years now. It's 11 or 12?
I think 11.
11? Yeah, so known each other 14 years, staff 11 years. Which has been incredible. And, H knew me before I even met Ashlee. H knew me when I was dating Ashlee. H knew me when I married Ashlee. He was one of my groomsmen. And on our wedding night, Heron and I hear from Ashlee that 10 years ago that he's just smitten with this girl at church named Cass. And he's like, I met her at singles and, and I think you went on one date with her maybe?
It was one date before our wedding.
I think it was one, or you were going to go on one. It was something like that.
What's your anniversary again?
October 15th.
September,
Our
October.
16th.
So
I think our first
16.
date was early October.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you just
You
went
went
on
on
you
one
went on
date.
one date, and you were like, It was good. It was good. You know, we're like, all right, man. We, you know, like
Threw everything at her.
dude,
He
yeah.
did. He came out with
Wrote a poem for
poetry.
her.
Wait,
How old were you guys?
he for sure ain't tell us that
30.
because he would have got smoked in the group chat.
Oh yeah.
Do you still have it?
That boy would have
No.
been ripped up in that group chat.
I'm not that kind of sentimental.
She said, "Nice try, loser." What a dork.
It was sweet. There was a lot of effort,
Yeah.
so that was really nice.
But was it nice? I mean, you said there's a lot of effort. Was it good?
I mean, we're
lying now.
married now.
But he's a poet, so he
Yeah.
does poetry. So
Right, I know this.
So he
I
does
know
spoken
Heron.
word.
I've known Heron for 10 years.
No,
now.
I know. So I'm like, I'm assuming it'd have to be good because like that he does poetry. You asked,
think I
is it
still
good?
have
And
it.
I'm
I have it
like,
in my
I think
phone
it's
somewhere.
somewhere in his
like
phone.
to her.
No, I think he like
would be
made it
messed
like
up.
right there on the spot.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh.
nice.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together. What's the famous one?
You're an
The
idiot.
poetry one. The
Please
I
don't
see
ever-
you see.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, realize.
Yeah. Real eyes, real lies, real lies. That's the poem. Real eyes, real lies, real lies. See?
Snaps.
That's whenever I'd make fun of Heron for poetry, that was my poem. I was like, I got one in the chamber. Haters.
Yeah, thank God you guys didn't marry him.
Yeah. Well,
Well, okay, so then we met
what they did? Who?
when we met Cass.
Yes. What did we met Cass on the? We met you before the a double date that we went on, or we met you on the double date?
It was like a quadruple date or something.
Was Nathan and Sanaz in that too?
Yes.
Was
there
that when
Okay.
we went to when we were in Claremont?
probably
Okay.
ish.
Yes. Where he snuck a kiss before the bathroom.
No.
Oh, not that one. Okay.
he had been kissed already.
Okay.
No. This
How
was
fast? How
another
fast
time.
did y'all's relationship progress?
I think it was faster on his side and slower on mine. So for me, like I remember, I think the first night I met Ashlee, she was like, "Oh, I had no idea." And then Heron told me he had a girlfriend. And then like we go home.
You were like, "Wait."
Or like we're in the car
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'm like, "So Heron, like we're not, boyfriend, girlfriend yet, you know?"
Oh no, y'all are. In my eyes,
said in my heart.
I realize.
According to Tafiti, we are.
Yeah. So I was like, for me, I was more, I don't know. I was very slow and
That's why she was single
cautious.
for a long time.
Well, because
I
well,
was.
hold on. Okay,
She put
Cass,
herself in that
Don't hate.
category.
I
You
love
guys-
the single season.
You were single.
But Heron is very like he's strong-willed, so he's gonna chase. Like he's not gonna back
you
down.
didn't date many.
Just
No, he would.
No.
Oh, well, we're not.
Tell the story.
Okay.
Okay, go. You tell your side. You tell your side.
He's like just one. I don't think he's ever listened to a prior Heron story, and that's fine. But basically, Heron's my first boyfriend. So,
knew
there had
this.
been guys I'd been interested in or talked to or a date here or there, but really nothing until Heron. So that's why I was so cautious. And he said I had like these walls up, but they came down.
You were really
we saw it very quickly.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well, you got to tell the story when I met your dad too.
Oh.
Oh.
He was all in.
It was epic.
Yeah. He was.
Pops
He
is
was
the
like,
best.
Take my daughter.
Pops is the best though. Yeah.
So my dad, I guess, had gotten desperate at that point.
You got to say your dad's name though, so people can know.
My dad's name is Wolfgang, so he's
From Germany.
straight from Germany.
Yeah.
Wolf. Wolf is what they call him.
He's like what 6'3"?
No, he's
6'4".
taller.
Taller.
He's
about
I think
6'6".
now he's probably around 6'5", but
Yeah.
gravity.
Yeah.
But
He's
he's
big
a
dude.
really big guy.
Yeah.
Big white guy. I look nothing like him.
Thick German accent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's great.
I'm filling in context for people like to imagine
great,
you
yeah.
meet. Like first time I met your dad, I'm like, oh man, he's intimidating, and then he's like the nicest,
He is.
incredible
Sweetest guy
guy.
ever.
Yes, but nobody would ever pick a fight with him, and
Yeah.
he knows that. He's massive. And he also knows how to embellish his stories. So he basically, and my dad lives in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so in their community, he had already told people, because I was 30, and he had already told people, oh, you know, Cassandra, she's going to have to move in with us, which is crazy. I was out on my own for like 10 years, had a job, a career, had my own place. And so he was telling people, oh, she's going to have to move in with us. And, you know, he'd already come to me with like, you know, the sad eyes, but I want grandkids one day. I'm like, oh my gosh, Dad, you know? So I met Heron right when I turned 30, but that time Heron met my dad. So, okay, so we're going to really fast forward. I told my parents about Heron in December. So first date was early October. I told my parents December. And then I don't know when Heron met my dad. I don't know what month it was, but probably February because my dad comes for a work trip. And so they met for the first time. And you guys, Heron is so great, okay? Because first off, I'm like, Heron, so are you like going to cover up your tattoos, you know?
His little baby tattoos at that time. He had like one.
So he's like long sleeve and everything, shows up. We go to Cheesecake Factory, which my parents are obsessed with Cheesecake Factory. I don't care what state you're in. That's all that they want. And so we go there, and my dad brings out his laptop, and he shows Heron like all of his travels, like one after the other after the other. And Heron's just sitting there so respectfully. And then, do you want to tell? Oh, I'm the storyteller, okay? Yeah. So basically what happened was my dad is super generous. And so when it came time to pay the bill, you know, and of course in my heart, I'm like, you better pay. So they're like arguing over who's going to pay the bill. Heron's like, no, I got it. And my dad's like, no, I got it. And Heron's like, no, I got it. And my dad's like, no, wallet's out. I'm going to pay for this. And then Heron's like, you can't. I already did.
Yeah, that my boy. Yes, sir.
He had disappeared at one point, gone to the bathroom, paid the bill, and it was love at first sight for my dad.
He said, you have the German code.
Yes.
You figured out the culture.
Figured it out.
Right. That was the blessing. I mean, and it was so smooth. Like, we were shocked, and I just knew he was good with that. And my dad, he still loves Heron. They go golfing.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know what else they do. Fix things in our house.
Oh, he's great. Pops is amazing. He's fun.
Okay, so Heron is your first boyfriend. Mm-hmm. How did you guys navigate tough conversations knowing that you weren't his first girlfriend?
I think he told her that she was his first girlfriend. So
Well, as you guys know, Heron's the very quiet type.
Yes.
So I got little to no information.
He's truthful, but you have to ask specifically the information you want.
I just got the basics, which is okay. I know there are some relationships where people want to know everything, and then there's some where people don't want to.
Yeah.
And Heron, I hope I'm not right. I mean, I hope I'm not wrong. He doesn't. He just wants to. We're together, and we're gonna move forward.
Yeah.
So.
He's like, well, you got me, right?
Yeah. And I mean, at that point, I had figured, you know, I'm not the first girlfriend. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's great, too, because we've had many occasions where we've counseled certain relationships, and the girlfriend or the boyfriend
one person relationship has more experience than the other, and
well, they did this and they did that.
One person wants to hash it all out. The other person's just like, hey, let's move on. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I think I had tried. It just never.
He just didn't.
This is it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Heron's like, yeah, duh. You got this poet.
Because you guys started dating in fall of 2015, and then you got married in 2017. You guys dated for 2 years.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. When we were married, it had been just under 2 years.
That's right.
And you guys have been married now how long?
8 years.
Going on 8.
Yeah.
8 this year.
8 this year.
Yeah. But here's what I know from experience with H, knowing him so long, is that boy was smitten by you. So that's how you could tell with H, because he ain't never cared about nobody. He don't have feelings towards much of anything besides his family. And so he was all in with you on after your first date of all things.
Yeah.
Which is, you know.
Which we can vouch for when you say, like, hey, I'm his girlfriend. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Knowing
day one, he was like, hey,
I mean,
I'm locked in.
You had already told your mom about me from the very beginning, right?
Oh yeah, I talked to my mom.
I think like from the time we were talking or something.
So then I'll ask you this, Heron. What was different about Cass? Because you have dated others. What was something that stood out about Cass that you were just smitten about?
I'm going to love this.
Which answer do you want?
Smitten. Duh. Duh.
Well, you know, from her, you know, as Gen Z would call her aura, right? Was very
Her vibes.
Her vibes was like, you know, humble. You know, I tell this story all the time. When I first decided to ask her out on a date, I kind of stalked her for like maybe 2.5 months, 3 months. And I wanted to make sure that if she was the person, obviously looks attracted me to her, but who is she hanging out with at church? Does she put her hands up during worship? Is she talking to guys after church?
Oh, dang.
You know, does she
he's
arrive?
watching.
You know, does she arrive
He's
and leave? Who does she arrive and leave with? And how does she carry herself? What is she wearing? You know, found her Twitter. You know, started looking at her Twitter.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even know I had an account.
She was in I find out that she was in a soccer. So, you know, first conversation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell
That was
I'm a
my
soccer
in with
fan.
that was
Yeah.
my in with Ashlee too.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not a soccer fan. You know,
So you don't ask questions. You're finding out new stuff today, girl.
This boy
Ask questions.
knows.
Ask him anything now.
That's like Ashlee on our first day. I'm like, "What's your favorite music?" She's like, "Kirk Franklin, blah blah blah." I already saw on her Facebook, Wiz Khalifa, blah blah blah. I'm like, "This girl's lying to impress me, but whatever. It means she's nervous. I'll take it. It means she's nervous around me."
It's super intimidating.
Very.
I'm sure you agree to be dating a pastor.
A pastor. Absolutely. He knows
Yeah.
my sins.
Super
He's the Pope.
intimidating.
Sees all
Yeah.
my sins.
Yeah.
1000%.
That's how I felt. Like one of our first conversations, Heron's like,
Until they actually meet us, they're like, "These guys must have became
I
pastors
know.
by the hair on their
Great
chinny
for
chin
them.
chin."
Wow. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
no, it's intimidating. And Heron early on, he's like, so what's your favorite psalm? And I'm like,
Oh no.
I have an answer now, but I didn't back then. You know, he's like, what's your favorite verse? I'm like, there's this verse in James, which I still to this day
You
don't know.
asked her that? Oh, if
asked
Adam
me.
would have, I would have been.
But that's
Wow.
age. That's age all day for sure.
He was showing me his education.
We had told this story forever though, but like me and Heron, we were roommates for a few years, and while we were pastors here, he was our outreach pastor, I was our youth pastor, and I said, "Man, come!" Right when he came out of seminary, he's like, "Man, get the job." You know, he interviews, he got the job, he moves in with me. And man, I'm intimidated because the first week that he moves in, every morning I think I was working out at that time, like pretty religiously or something. So I'm up at 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. And his lights on in his room, and he's got worship music, and for 7 days straight, I'm like, this dude. I gotta up my game because I'm not doing. And then I get done working out, and I'd still be on worship music. I'm like, man, he putting in work. And so, on the 8th day, I'm cooking breakfast, or we're hanging out in the living room, kitchen, or whatever. I'm like, bro, you putting in work, man, just in the scriptures and da da da. And he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, every morning I get up to go work out, and you got worship music on, your lights on, all this stuff. And he's like, no, man, I've been hearing screams at night in this house. I can't fall asleep. I've been scared. And believe it or not, the previous guy that lived there, he was into watching all these witchcraft things and stuff. And there were spirits in the house that I moved into. Ashlee would hear I'd be outside. Ashlee, we were dating. She'd hear my bedroom door close. She would hear someone scream.
Oh my goodness.
We would see our
Running.
attic, hands on our attic to open it and stuff like that. So H was not reading his Bible. He was just trying to get some sleep. But
he's putting the scriptures to work.
exactly. But on all though, that is Heron. Heron's gonna be like, I want to know your favorite Bible verse. I want to know for sure. That's what he's gonna ask. So you're intimidated at that point.
I was intimidated even meeting you guys. I remember. So Heron's like, okay, we're gonna go on this date. And I think there were 4 pastors and 4 pastor wives there, and I was freaking out. And I mean, at this point, I didn't know any of you guys. I didn't know your names apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I get there, and the women were super sweet. And I loved, right from the start, Heron's friend groups. Not just you guys. He just had a lot of friend groups, and seeing how healthy that was. I feel like women, we really want that for our husbands. We want them to have men and accountability in their lives and people they could turn to. So it's much more than just us. And not just any kind of guy friends, but like good, solid ones. So that was, got me a little bit closer to the girlfriend status.
Yeah.
So
That was great.
Got you feeling more. So at what point did you let your wall down to really dive in with your relationship with Heron?
So I think it really started when I told my parents in December. I went to visit my parents, and I was like, I'm going to tell them. And I mean, we were dating, but I mean, we talked all the time. We were spending all of our time together. At that point, he had just gotten me for Christmas a Disneyland season pass. So I was like, oh, we're going to be together at least a year.
At least a year.
So when I finally
Until this thing expires, I'm using this.
Right. I was like, oh my goodness. That was a surprise too. But when I told my parents, I think it did something on the inside of me where, family's on board now. I can, let some of those walls down and be in this relationship. And, then I fell in love with him, but I didn't tell him for a few months. He told me a few times. He recanted because I didn't respond. So he'd be like, oh, I said some pretty crazy things, huh? And he's like, I did. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mean that.
Dang, you hanging him on a string like that?
I did to you too. What are you talking about?
Once, and you only had one other time to not say it, or you would have been out on them streets. I'll tell you that much.
It was 3 or 4 times with Heron, but
Dang,
do you remember that, Heron?
No,
Jeez.
I remember just once.
Yeah, he was
I
like,
don't know,
I
3 or
blocked out the
4.
other 3
He
or 4.
said, hold on.
Don't embarrass me in my poetry.
He was putting it out there for the response, and there was just no response. So, yeah.
Dang, Cass, why didn't you love my mans?
I did.
Why didn't you say it?
I don't know.
She said, I ain't giving you a piece of my heart yet.
Probably why I was
Just yet.
single for so long.
He nodded his head like, yep.
It's okay. God was working on Heron and getting him ready for me during that time.
Yeah.
Look at you. Okay.
He said, look at you, okay.
He was not like this when we dated.
What?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah. So then I want to know the hair, because I knew.
You just throw the bait. You throw the bait out, let them catch it. Once you get them in, you good.
Them.
That's it.
Gucci. Did you get him in?
Because I know Heron. And I know Heron. What would it been a year that we've known each other prior to meeting? 2 years we've worked.
Yeah.
Me and Heron, like I knew him like a brother.
Siblings
So
right
I'm
away.
like,
Yeah.
who are you nice to? Because it ain't me. I'm trying to figure out. So was Heron the nicest guy?
He was. He was so nice.
And then you married him.
I saw that before we got married. Once we were in love, I started getting the, real colors like this.
The real Slim Shady.
So when we were dating, early on, when we were talking, we would be talking on the phone for hours every single day. About Bible verses and whatever. No, just everything for hours. Then once we were in a relationship, I'd want to call him. He'd be like, I don't really like the talking on the phone. I'm like, wait. What have we been doing all this time? It was just like a text. He straight
Phone
told me.
calls suck.
Yeah, he just told me I don't really like talking on the phone. That's
What we've been doing.
You have to understand, Cassandra, she talks a lot.
Yeah.
And
Ashley.
4, 5,
Yeah.
6 calls. At some point, a guy.
no.
Well, no. Voicemail after voicemail.
No,
call
I
and call.
never left you a
You know how
voicemail
many
because it was
voicemails I got
never
on my phone? I had to
available.
delete.
Yours was always full. I think he's making that
This is
part
the
up.
best.
No,
This
no.
is the best.
No.
This is best.
You would call all
Cass
the
is a
time.
chatter. Ashley's a chatter.
Yeah, we're
I love to
Sanaa's
talk.
a
Yeah,
chatter.
we-
We did. Yeah.
And that's me holding back. I could talk to your ears
She could
well
talk
off.
forever.
I could.
Yeah.
Which is great. So then at that point, were you like,
No.
is he showing his true colors? Or were you like, I'm still smitten, I'll get over it?
I don't know. I think I was pretty smitten. Yeah. I think like, and so first boyfriend, he was the first person I had ever been in love with. And now I believe, because never being in love, you don't have that experience that other people have. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't ever relate or understand somebody who had been in love. Why would you be in that relationship? Why do you not get out? Things like that. Now I know you have to be careful who you fall in love with, because once you're in love, like you're pretty much going to stay there. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's like to fall out of love, but I do understand why just kind of the danger of falling in love. Like, mm-hmm. I do feel like you do have to be guarded. You do have to have those walls, because once I was in love, like, that was it. We were moving forward. We were getting married, and 8 years, 7.5 or something. We're not quite at 8.
Yeah.
But 8 years later, 2 kids later,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was it. That was it for me.
So what is something that Heron, obviously knowing his personality, has changed you for the better? Like, what is something that Cass wouldn't do then but does now?
He taught me to spend money.
Like, to be okay with spending it, because you're real frugal.
Yes, I'm very frugal, which is funny. He is the one who got me to take the Dave Ramsey course at the church. Yeah. Financial Peace University. Yeah. So we took that together, and then I loved it so much. I became like the biggest podcast junkie, just listening, taking those information, and he just kind of left it at those classes, which is fine. But one of the things in that I had to learn is I'm naturally frugal. That's a nice way of putting it. And he likes to spend, and having to find it's okay. Those people who like to spend, it's okay, and having to work with that. Yeah. So that's, I think, a good thing, because it taught me to enjoy my money, to enjoy my time. I'm a person who could just work all the time and not take time for fun. So he makes me.
Yeah. And then what is something with Cass that you're like, oh, this changed me, made me softer, made me more reasonable, made me...
she has a very kind heart, and so you guys know me, but for me, I'm very rough up front. I'm very guarded. I'm very quiet, reserved, unless poked at. And so for her, she's allowed me. I'm learning to be more kind, more generous, more careful with my words and how I approach people and how I deal with people. So. And
the Lord gave you 2 daughters to pull that out even more. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely a everyday thing for sure. I'm learning how to be more patient, more kind, more generous with my girls. Yep.
Yeah. And so when you guys got married, both being in the church, Christians, following your faith at that point, like, what were kind of some of your early, would you say, were some of the biggest early hurdles that you guys saw, facing each other, pursuing your faith, but also, in your marriage and stuff like that? What were some things you felt like you guys got alignment on, but really had to tackle it on the front end? Was there anything?
Yeah, I think the biggest hurdle for us was probably twofold, right? Would probably be finances and communication. I think that was probably our biggest hurdle that, we had to get on the same page and really figure out, debt, finances, and then communication with that.
Yeah. What would you say, Cass?
Same. So we are 2 completely different communicators. So having to learn, and I'm a teacher, so we got married in the summer, so he'd come home from work, and I'd just be sitting around all day. So Heron's home, yay, my best friend ever. And it was a bit much for him. Yeah. And then he would come in, and I'm too much for him. So, and then he would kind of react negatively towards me. And so I had to learn, okay, I had to give him that time to decompress or whatever from work. And then we could go and do our thing, play games or whatever it was that we would do to connect. But early on, I had to find that out, which I should know because I have family. I wake up like that, just like Alana. I could wake up and do a flip. And that's just how I've always been. And I have a mother and a brother who are like the grumpiest people in the morning. So I feel like God puts people in your life to prepare you for your future. So I had to learn with them, like, back off. Don't get in their space. Don't irritate them. And then, so I had to learn the same thing for Heron, not to not irritate him, but to give him that space where he needs it. So that way he can come and communicate and be that husband with me. And then finances was something not in a negative way. We actually tackled together. So when we got married, one of us inherited a lot of debt. And it wasn't me. But it was really good because it taught us how to work together. So that was something where we had to pursue it together, and it taught us how to work together, how to get on the same page. So though it was not fun to pay it off, it was actually a blessing because it was like the test of life. Here's finances. How are you going to handle this? So it was something we tackled together. So it wasn't a hurdle like at each other. It was one that we were going at together.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, that's good. How are you in the morning?
Oh, geez. It just goes through the whole day. It's from morning, afternoon, night, grumpy.
Yeah.
So would you say you're a morning person, night person?
So I'm a morning person when I'm by myself. Then when everyone else wakes up...
She wakes up already yelling at the boys. No. Like, they're not even awake yet, and they're already getting yelled at. Like, as if they're aware of what they're doing, right? She'll, like, yell from downstairs, "You guys better be ready." And I'm like, you just walked from the room. Like, they're still asleep. Like, what do you mean, And then I just sit there, and then I'll lean over at them, and I'll be like, y'all better get up before this day gets worse.
I find that the kids are the hardest to get ready on the days where you have to be somewhere on time.
Yeah, for sure.
That's school every day.
Yeah. Like
exactly.
Saturday morning, my girls will dress themselves and go brush their teeth themselves. And then it's, any other time where we
You're
actually
like,
have to
that's
be
not
somewhere.
the day I need you to do that.
Yeah, I'm like, help me out. Don't you guys see that mommy's stressed? I need to be somewhere at a certain time. And they just don't get it.
Yeah, no.
So
sometimes husbands don't either. So maybe they'll catch up too when the kids do.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go back to too because I love the aura. What's my aura?
That's a good one. That's a good
Listen. This podcast cannot go long enough to be able to explain that. That's just
What does that mean?
like a
Heron?
vibe. The aura
This
is
is
like a
vibe.
vibe. It's
Vibe
like a
check.
vibe. Yeah.
Like a what?
Like someone's vibe. Like right when you meet that person, what's their vibe?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy,
like
sad, excited.
energy.
Yeah.
Cass's aura is very nice. She's always nice. I don't think I've ever seen Cass mad.
I've seen her frustrated. Yeah.
Really?
You haven't? Yeah, she's been frustrated before with Heron.
Well,
Just like you've been frustrated with me. Like,
that's probably well deserved frustration.
yeah, you're frustrated with your spouse. I've seen her frustrated with her husband before. It's like I've seen you pretty frustrated before.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, no, we
Anyways.
reached our time right now.
Oh,
So
we're
if
done?
we do again, we're gonna have to do a
dang.
part 2 in the future.
Because I want to get to.
What did you want?
I want to get to the makeout sessions with them.
Well, again, that's when he was smitten.
Because I want to know what Cass thought
Yeah.
of a Tongan.
Grabbing her, kissing her. We were all on a double date one time in Orange
it's the
County,
best.
and Heron just grabbed Cass, and he
We're
just
sitting at
started
the
kissing
table,
on
we're-
her. Like, whoa, what's
Oh,
going
yeah.
on? Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
But we need, but yeah.
Because you was drunk in love.
Exactly. But we knew that was Cass's first relationship, so it was like, he's
handling
and she
it.
must be really in love with him because they were all over each other.
First
Yeah.
time, last time. We are not physical
we
around people.
No PDA. Yeah,
No
yeah, yeah.
PDA. Even at I might try to. Oh, you're holding my hand.
Oh, yeah.
Very rare. Very
Yeah.
rare.
in the courtyard. I said, Grab my mic.
What are you
Oh
doing?
yeah, we're at
I'm going to get the
church.
kids.
Like my pastor might see this. Stop. It's like we've been married for 8
I'm
years.
the
What you
kids
doing?
need to see this.
Yeah. The girls need to see this
we gotta have you
affection.
guys back on because I want more.
Ashley wanted to go into more detail.
I did.
Well, yeah, it'll be for a future episode then.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
We'll see what the views are.
All right. No, they'll
Yes.
love it. They want to know more.
Yeah.
They want to know more. Yep.
Exactly.
Just like me. Okay.
They're gonna remember all Heron's youth pastor sermons and try
I know, right?
try to
Right?
put together the dating life.
I love it.
All right, y'all. Thanks
All
for
right,
joining
guys.
us. Thanks, Heron and Cass, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank
you.
Believe it or
Fun.
not, Cass listens all the time.
Yeah.
And so,
I am a faithful
Avid.
listener.
Cleaning, showers,
Yes.
bathroom.
Well, tell
This
us
is
about
all-
it. Did you hate it or
This is-
something? Golly. You got the hat on and everything.
Heron's in half the episode, so he's like, I don't want to hear.
This is how I clean the kitchen. is
Yeah.
I
She,
look forward
she
to
sends
it.
everyone up because I know she needs her time to listen to this.
Oh.
That's my time. Well, podcasts help me
Yeah.
clean and
What are some other podcasts you listen to?
well, right now I'm kind of on a YouTube fix.
Oh,
so
okay.
podcasts have gone everywhere, but a
Yeah.
lot of religious,
Okay.
financial.
Wesley Huff, right? You've been
Been listening to a lot of Wes Huff.
Yeah, but that was more like a season. That,
Oh,
that
okay.
got pretty exciting.
Past.
Well,
It's good content. It's just weighty. One day I sat down and I was just like, our whole career is studying the Bible and teaching and preaching. And so I went to watch a Wesley Huff video and they were talking about the language codex. And I was just like, I can't do this right. There's too much learning. I'm already learning for my sermon this weekend. Like it's just too much mentally. And I had
time
to,
and a
like,
place for those super educational
Yeah,
ones.
exactly. And I tried. I was like, oh, I'm going to geek out over this. And I sat and I was like, I can't do this right now. And then I turned it off. And then I've listened to it a few times driving the car and stuff. But it's just not, it's really good stuff. The only problem is that most of us aren't applying that in our daily life. So it gets really hard to chew on. It's just so, it feels like you're in school again. It's a lot. But yeah. And then you love Financial Peace University. You love Dave Ramsey radio show?
Yes, and all the personalities. I do. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
I got to meet him a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Oh,
he's
really?
hilarious.
Yeah, he's very nice. But he is everything. He is on the radio. There's not two versions of him. That's exactly who he is.
Kind of reminds me of my dad,
Yeah.
just like kind of I don't know if that's going to sound rude, but like the grumpy white male.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that
no.
gets older and they just say it like it is.
Oh, no, that's exactly who he is.
Yeah, I love it when
Mm-hmm.
people just say it and unashamed. And
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has these pillars apparently that are on his wall at his job, at his work, and like one of them is no gossip, and you will get fired. They'll be like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she just got fired today." Why?
She gossip.
Gossip.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he literally was like, "Gossip."
Yeah.
And so here we go with the next meeting.
yeah. We let go of so-and-so today because of gossip.
Gossip.
So next week, we got a big week for us. We got
Literally.
Dude's cutthroat, man.
Cutthroat. Does not play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. Thanks
right.
for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.